everybody, this is Anne. Welcome back to Reaper Pro-Tips with me, your host, and also Disembodied Hands Quindy and Disembodied Beard John, and anybody else who wants to kind of show up. We're here. So, welcome. And thank you, Zachariah. I saw that sneaky sub before I came on. 16 months. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm in a good mood today. I'm in a good mood because I have this new book, right, that I'm writing, and I don't have a cover for it. So last night I panic emailed my cover artist. I'm like, so if you have a slot that comes open in the next, month or so or 2 or 3, I need a cover. And she wrote me back this morning and said, I just had somebody cancel. And I'm like, so yeah, I love making new covers, even though I'm not making them. Possibly because I'm not making them. That's why I love new covers. So yeah, Rite of Winter we'll get, and I'm officially settling on Rite of Winter. I actually like the title. It fits. It feels right. So I'm gonna say that is the title, not just the working title. And yeah. So yeah. So I'm gonna have a new cover. Yay! And an unexpected book with an unexpected new cover, which means that because I'm moving pretty well on this book now that I know what it is. So you can definitely expect 2 books this coming year, for sure. Maybe even 3. That would be weird. It depends on how short this one is. I mean, it still might be just a 30,000 worder, so I have no idea. All I have is an outline, so I'm sticking to it. Right of, not right as in magical, right of, as in having the right to, Pendrake. It's also kind of a pun, because my directional titles. Wiggle. It depends, Kerniko, because I think what I'm realizing is that some writers can write out of order, right? Some writers write the books that they write, and then they're like, oh, there's a prequel in there, right? They see that there's actually a book, there's a story that took place between book X and book Y, right? And they go back and write that. One of my favorite historical fiction authors has done that. Bernard Cornwell with his Sharpe's Rifle series. He did that. And I can't. I'm realizing, I thought I could. I thought it'd be fine. But what I'm starting to realize is I'm a very linear writer. Because when it's because I'm an intuitive writer, because I'm embracing my intuitive side. What that means is when I've got a plot line, I start writing it, I have it all laid out, but when I get a better idea, I'm going to deviate in the middle, or I'm going to add something extra. And that makes doing prequel books or surprise in the middle books out of order really hard, because when you've got reveals lined up, you can't early reveal something that then you're supposed to reveal or you've already revealed in the book after, right? So essentially, if I really want to do this book, I've got to publish North of the Wind after it, because stuff that happens in this book is going to influence that. Nope, there's not a leftist summer, Pendrake. That would be embracing. That would be like the pun. It was accidental. I like it, but I'm not leaning into that. No. Nope. But what it does mean is that I might need to actually write another book before North of the Wind. Actually, I shouldn't need to, because the characters don't cross over. Well, I guess they do. I don't know. We'll figure it out, right? We'll figure it out. Nobody cares because you guys are my only fans. That's not true, but you know what I mean, right? No, I am not. I hate that, Kerniko. In fact, I refused to watch that movie because of that. Because that's the bad way to do one of those transitional stories, right? We're going to introduce all these awesome people, but oh no, they're not in the later movies, so we'll just kill them all, right? No. I refused to even watch the movie. Because I knew I would just get angry. But yeah, all that stuff, I don't like it, and so where I can, I'm going to avoid writing out of order. I think I can manage, because and I can do this without spoilers, really. But I can say that the book that I would write after this book is done, after North of the Wind are done, would be the first of the Foxes books that I mentioned. And that book actually takes place between Rite of Winter and North of the Wind. So that's why I would be like, do I want to write that before? But I don't want to push off North of the Wind too long. And the Foxes is technically part of its own duology, so. Yes, Lady Kachara, but I was unwilling to make that sacrifice. I mean, I watched the original Star Wars when I was a tiny child. My father took me to it, like, with him on the premiere. And I've watched it so many times, it's beyond. But, yeah, but I'm not willing to watch a movie where all the characters die at the end. Like, that's just not for me. Like, absolutely not for me. And I love the Star Wars franchise to a point. And the point is that. I enjoy their world to a point. I love the original movies because I saw them when I was a kid. But if I had to really, like, pick, like, one of those iconic 80s movies that I actually love even more, it would be Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it's like, I like Star Wars, I enjoy Star Wars, but I'm not, like, a huge super fan of Star Wars. I do not watch all of the stuff. I have only seen parts of The Mandalorian. Stuff like that. Yeah. Well, if you like one of the actors, that makes sense, Critico. Sometimes you will watch a bad movie, or you will watch a movie just because you like an actor. Why do I keep going back to watch Tomb Raider? Because Daniel Craig and Angelina, actually. Both of them. That was a very good campy Tomb Raider movie. All right, now let us get to going on some of this bling that Ed's got on him and the wood. I think I'm going to do golden wood today. I'm going to get probably a little bit of attention on the hair. I need to shade. I need to highlight a little bit as well. So we're going to pop in and do a lot of that today. Just pretty much all the other stuff that we've got to do other than basing. As I am still waiting on my Reaper order, although it did get postage. No, I would not watch that movie, Turchin. Like, at least one of the characters has to live that I like. But no, I haven't watched The Alamo. Yeah, it's just me. It's very much I want a happy ending. I'm okay with kind of a bittersweet happy ending, you know? I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with all the characters that I like dying. I'm not okay with that. So, darn it, I forgot. 1 second. I need to fix my paint water situation here. Or my thinning water situation by putting a little bit. I'm going to mix some flow improver mix. I'm going to grab my flow improver and squeeze some into my bottle and then pour some water into it. Because, yeah. Because I'm sick of not having mixed up flow improver here, and I forgot to do a new one. I know I've got a pipette somewhere through here. Where did I put it? At least I thought I had a pipette. I thought I had something to pipe this with. I thought I had a squeezy thing. Am I wrong? Do I not have a squeezy thing? Did I clean it up and put it in the other room where it's of no use to me? Probably. Looks like it. All right, we're going to have to pour. That'll be fine. Really? What could go wrong? Yeah, but it's still like a movie where a bunch of people I like are going to die, Pendrake. But it's just not a thing I enjoy. You know, I enjoy happy ending. I like good guys winning. I like seeing my character like live and grow and get stronger over time instead of like having an awesome moment and then I'm not a fan of the dying characters. It's just me. I like my my stories to be happy like that. I do not like a good cry. Or if I like a good cry, I like it to be a happy cry. Like when I watched the last session of Bake Off last night. Yes, I actually cried, Critico. David and I were both rooting for that particular person, even though we thought that a different person was going to take it. And I actually cried at the end, so. Because I'm just weepy sometimes. So I'm going to mix up my Shield Brown, which is Ed's hair color. And I'm going to, I'm going to mix a shadow by putting in just a touch of brown liner. I'm going to maybe do a 2-to-1 Shield Brown to brown liner. And I'm going to mix in a touch of blonde hair, literally that color. That's sun yellow. We don't want that. A touch of blonde hair, because this brown is a very golden brown. So using yellows to highlight it is good, and a hair color to highlight it is good. Yeah, Bake Off was awesome this year. There were so many good contestants. All of those guys were fantastic people. And I loved who won. I was so happy. Also, his cake was amazing. Hush, Thormel. Shh, don't spoiler it. It's too, don't look at Thormel's comment, everybody who hasn't watched it, who is going to watch it. I mean, given most rabid Bake Off fans, we're probably watching it, you know, in order. But still, it's still a little soon. Still a little soon. And that's who the clear favorite was, Thormel. But I'm kind of liking surprise endings. I'm kind of happy that it turned out as it did. Okay, I'm very happy it turned out as it did. Yeah. That's why I was avoiding saying specific names, Thormel. Is because let's just let people enjoy their Bake Off if they haven't. But yeah, if you ever wanted to get into the Great British Baking Show, this was a really fun season to do so. All right, I've got these mixed up. I'm going to thin down. I'm going to go about 2-to-1 on water to paint. Or, sorry, paint to water on the shadow and the highlight. And we'll work on that. That's okay. Yeah, I won't watch war movies. I can't do it in general. So I understand they're good stories about the human condition and people pushed to extreme lengths. But yeah, no. Just not my thing. It's just not what I enjoy. And I hardly watch movies at all these days, to be honest, guys. So I think I'm going to actually need, in addition to that blonde hair, I'm going to pop a drop of Osirian sand in there. I need to lighten that highlight enough that it shows up. Ed does not have much hair, haha. So we will lighten that highlight just a little bit with our off-white. Yeah, Bake Off was good this year. It's really good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember the awesome German dude. He was awesome, too, right up to the end. Oh, no, crying in horror is not good. Oh, funny. Funny, Agent Marvel, yeah. Yeah. It is pretty hilarious anyway. But yeah, they had some really hilarious moments this year. And I really like the new comedian. You were right, Kerniko. I remember when you mentioned that they had a new comedian. What's funny is, she actually makes me like Noel. And I was so on Noel before. Like, I appreciate his goth vibe because I used to go to goth clubs and I'm from that subculture in like my earlier days, you know. But at this same time, I was never a huge Noel fan. But her interactions with Noel make me like Noel more. Oh, good. Yeah, diet. Yeah, I've had to work it up, lady. I was having some problems after Thanksgiving. I am finally back to normal, I think, guys. Funnily enough, David had gastric upset last night. I didn't. I made lamb sog, which turned out okay. But yeah, I was having a real bad time. I went really off diet for like 4 days in a row for Thanksgiving, and it really hit me hard. So for a while I went on to a new thing. I tried out the FODMAP, the fermentable oligosaccharide, disaccharide, blah blah blahs, monosaccharide, somethings. that diet. Sandy was cool. Like, I would have liked a different comedian with Sandy better, though. Like, I would like to see Sandy and what's his name? The bald guy that was with Noel last season. Lamb saag, S-A-A-G, is an Indian dish. You probably have encountered it, Sir Gambit, if you have encountered Indian food at all. Saag is the one that's spinach. It's got pureed spinach in it, so it's very green. Yeah, it is hard. I was really scared there for a while there, Twisted Oma, that I was going to have to seriously switch up my diet. That's funny. That's funny, Reaper Natures. But yeah, so lamb saag is a curry. And you could do chicken. Saag paneer is one of the most common ones, and that just has the Indian cheese in it. But yeah, you do your normal curry spices and everything, but then you also do some pureed spinach, and it can either be, the pureed spinach can be pureed with cream, made into kind of a spinach cream sauce, or you can use cashews, which is what I did. You fry up some cashews, the hot peppers, and the spinach in a pan, let it cool down, put it in your, in my case, magic bullet, with some water, and blend it up. And then you use that to thicken your curry sauce at the end of the meal. You only cook it for you cook the rest of the curry for a while, but you add in the saag at the end for the last 4 minutes. It is quite tasty, and it's a nice way to get a bunch of spinach without having to eat a bunch of spinach, because it tastes like a curry. It tastes good, but yeah. Yeah, saag paneer and saag tofu are very, very common variations. Yes. But David really likes lamb saag. I like saag paneer quite a bit, but David does like his actual meat protein. So I do it with lamb. My recipes for actually chicken, but I do like lamb, and it's just another opportunity to have lamb. All right. I missed a spot here. I learned to cook Indian during the pandemic, Sir Gambit. That was my project. My pandemic project was, we have a lot of great Indian restaurants and grocery stores around us, because there's a lot of Indian people that are employed by the tech industry in this area. And so a lot of the local restaurants and grocery stores cater to that. And so I really enjoyed Indian food. We were eating it as takeout a lot during the pandemic. And so I decided to teach myself to cook it. I had never had lamb. When I was a kid, we never had it. 0% time, Pendrake. I had veal more often than I had lamb, because I had an aunt who really loved veal. But I don't remember when it changed. I think it was when I had the cinnamon curry lamb stew for the first time in Santa Fe. And then I was like, whoa, lamb? I like lamb. And that kind of blew up my brain, and so then I started, I reverse engineered the cinnamon curry lamb stew recipe. And then I started, then we started doing lamb kebabs, because Mediterranean lamb kebabs are a thing, and they're so good. So it's very ironic, because Amy's family, my sister-in-law's family, are sheep farmers. They were always eating lamb. Homegrown. But I had never tried it until I was firmly into my adulthood. In my 40s, I'd say. And I really love it now. Oh, it's amazing in my book, said Raven. I love it. Definitely not something I have every day because of the flavor being so strong. But we have our local little grocery store, my tiny kind of local, it feels like a Whole Foods, but it's not. It's a local chain. They have great lamb kebabs, Mediterranean marinated lamb kebabs that you can buy just to grill, and we eat those. And because my last lamb bit actually had a bone in, and I usually just buy a leg and split it up into stew meat. But I've got that meaty bone sitting in the fridge right now, much as Kiki wanted to eat it last night. And so I'm going to make some lamb bone broth in the Instant Pot today, and then maybe next weekend we'll do Irish lamb stew, because I've got a recipe that I've been wanting to try. They're all newer. Yeah, it can be a weird spice mixture when you first come to it. Like when I first tried Indian food, I liked Thai food better than Indian. It was funny because Jennifer and I would go out. Like I would want to go out for Thai, she'd want to go out for Indian, and Indian was like my stomach liked it, but it was like, what is this? Is this food? That was honestly my guts like reaction to it the first time I had Indian food. It felt weird. So we're putting on some highlights on here. Let's get a little closer. So you can see me bringing up those little bits of highlights. But yeah, so then though, I don't know, something shifted when I started having it a lot out here. And I really started to like the flavor. And now I would say I like Indian a little better than Thai. Although we certainly do go out and get Thai food still. We've got a very good Thai place. So there's some dishes though that in Indian cooking I really love. So you can start to bring out those hairlines. One thing Tom Meyer does tend to do well, I think, is he does know how to sculpt hair quite well. This hair is well done. It doesn't have a lot of relief in it, which means you can do the strands without worrying about there being kind of a chunky texture. You like Korean food the best? Yeah, we don't have a lot of Korean here. I kind of am like, we've got hot pot places, we've got Vietnamese places, pho mostly, but just some otherwise just some other Vietnamese too. There's a lot of everything here. I mean, if I went into the city proper, if you go into San Francisco, you're going to get everything. But I don't think that we have a Korean restaurant here in Mountain View. I don't know, I'd have to look. But yeah, I do enjoy Indian a lot now, and now that I know how to cook it, there are a few Indian dishes I make regularly. Make a chicken curry pretty regularly. There's a fish curry that I make that David loves. I haven't made that one for a while because we haven't had cod. And cod is the best fish for it. But yeah, then there's the sag, which is it's funny. Indian food is a lot of prep because there's a lot of chopping and measuring out spices. But once you have your mise en place, it goes very fast from there. So just a little bit. We still want that halo of hair. He's got his hair parted like mine, which means you can see, if you even look at my camera right now, you can see that circular halo. And so we're kind of like doing that a bit here. Oh no, I'm sorry, your pasta bake got scorched. Oh, Korean barbecue, yay. Aw, sadness. Alrighty, I'm gonna have to have another highlight up here, but for now, at least I've got the hair. And then down here it comes out a little bit. So I'm going to highlight the little bits down there, the fringe. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch it for Christmas after totally screwing up my gut for Thanksgiving. I'm going to have to be a smarter Anne heading into the Christmas holiday. Oh no, Granico. Oh no. Rip pasta. R.I.P. R.I.P. pasta. So that's taking the hair a shade lighter. That's fine. I'm going to put a highlight on them. I'm probably going to glaze with my Shield Brown just to make sure I can bring the color back to where I want it. It's still very Ed, so. And then the beard, I'm going to get a little bit of a highlight in the beard, and then I'm going to get another highlight, a sharper highlight, figure it out. Today is working on fundamentals of mini painting YouTube video day. I used to do, when new people would come into the hobby and come to paint club, I would do a primer class for them, which was really just take them out in the back onto the shipping dock and show them how I prime things, which apparently was surprisingly useful to them. So I'm going to actually put my primer class on the YouTube. It's very simple. It's really just methodology to make sure you get a good coat of primer on your model every time. And I'll talk about different primes. So we'll talk about the difference between using white or gray versus black versus zenith and why, and the advantages and disadvantages of each. I wasn't gonna make that into a PDF, but there's actually quite a bit of info about why I would choose different priming styles for different things. So when I started outlining it, so I may actually end up making it the PDF this month. And after that, we are into fundamentals in practice, I believe. I'd have to check my outline. Those sound like awesome socks, Twisted Oma. I was just thinking about knitting the other day. I'm getting in the knitting mood. I'm always in the knitting mood when when it's in winter, and technically I need to have the thing knitted already. But I'm still a bit out from trying socks, but I successfully finished my seed stitch cowl, so now I have to pick a new thing to try. I think it might be cables. I think cables might be a new thing. Oh, and I put this in my shopping cart. I don't know if you have it, Kernigo, but I wanted to show you. It's a book. It's a book. Hold on. Boom. It's a knitting book, but it sounds like a very Anne knitting book. There. I thought this might be fun. It's called the New Knitting Stitch Dictionary. It only has a few reviews, but I thought it might be useful for me as a new person. I wondered if you'd heard of it. I mean, it may be kind of crappy, it may not, but I was thinking about giving it a chance. I would kind of like a comprehensive, these are the different stitches kind of thing. All right, so I made a new color to highlight the hair. Boop. I probably don't need any more knitting though. So there's our total. So we don't quite have a pentad yet. We're getting there though. So this new one I'll put only up on the top. Yeah, so the New Knitting Stitch Dictionary. So yeah. And since they have so few reviews, as somebody else who has so few reviews, I will totally leave them a positive review if I buy it and like it. But it just looks fun. It looks kind of cool. So yeah, but I think cables need to be my next thing, because I have a shawl pattern that's got cables. I've never done it. Oh, that's good, Twisted Oma. That's good to know. Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good to know. I thought I might since my mom's going to be here this weekend, they're visiting. I might hit her up for some cable knowledge. Because she's very experienced. So just little touches of that light color. We're going to put it right around the part in the hair, just like you see the higher highlights around my own hair. Oh, we had a super funny moment related to my parents visiting yesterday. So Kiki was filthy and needed a bath. So it was bath time here at the house. And I got her into the bathroom as we were filling the tub. And she kept looking into the tub, like just like curiously into the tub, you know, like like she could see the water, or she was curious about it or something like that. It's been a couple months we gave her a bath, but still, she should know what a bath is. But so I'm like, go ahead, girl, get in. Like, go ahead, you know, and I encouraged her to hop in the tub, and she did. She actually jumped into the bathtub full of warm water. And then she got this, oh no, you've tricked me, look on her face, and immediately tried to jump out. It was hilarious. Oh my God. So, it was so good. Apparently, like, when she was in it, she remembered baths. Baths are betrayed, exactly. Oh my God, it was so good. Oh, wow. But she is so soft right now. I'm like, we should just give you baths more. And then I thought about how much of a pain in the butt it was. I went, no. But she is super soft right now. Super soft dog. Clean and fresh and super soft. I doubt it will last very long, but it's nice while it's here. So let's do... So when you've got really shallowly sculpted hair like this, you really don't have to hit the strands exactly where they're sculpted. Just have your brush stroke going in the same direction. And I just want that little halo. See that now? Just like it's on my hair. And we're going to glaze and bring it down a little bit. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I figured since that's mostly what makes the difference with knitting is whether your yarn is in front or in back. Twisted Oma, thanks though. I won't understand that fully until I start to actually try it. This shawl is pretty straightforward, but then when it gets down to the end, it has some nice cables creating kind of a lace effect. And I have a pretty grayish blue, soft blue yarn that I'm going to use for it. And I'm going to the yarn store with my mom when she comes this weekend, so I know I'm going to end up picking up something else. I also have yarn to make a dog blanket for Kiki for our TV room couch, which I have not gotten out. But I might have to... That would be an easy project. Just straight up. Pretty easy knitting. Oh, yeah, Kroniko, I imagine. Yeah, I used to bathe my Abyssinian kitty, Ishtar, because her fur was so soft and fine, she just picked up so much dust and dirt. Like, so she actually would get fairly regular baths. And it was funny, because she'd just sit in the sink and go... Just like, I know you're unhappy, cat, but she loved me too much to like actually jump out. Like she would just give me this sorrowful look while I was doing it. I'm gonna take some of my shield brown, make sure that I've got. It looks pretty good, And goes Mao. Yep. Yeah, that was what Ish did. Still a little bit of highlight there. I'm just trying to get, you kind of want to bring out the details in the hair a little bit and give it some variation. And get away with a line of highlight there because that's where it's falling off the side of the head. At least with David, we have the Kiki bathing down to a very fast process, so she seldom has to sit in there. And David got the blow dryer out afterward, and I fed her treats in front of him while he blow dried her. We didn't get her fully dry, but she actually didn't mind it at all. So I think we're gonna implement that, the blow drying, in the future. How's it going, Slayer? We're putting the hair highlights on Ed here. It's looking pretty good, actually. I think one more highlight. I usually try to go all the way up to an off-white, unless it's a really dark hair. I'm going to try just a little bit of one. But yeah, I was happy that she didn't mind the hair dryer. I'd actually exposed her to it a little bit in the past, but now that if we can get her really accustomed to it, then the door is open for us to send her to a groomer if we want to get her seriously gone over. Alright, I've got an off-white. Let's see if I actually made this too thin or if I kept it good. Yeah, that's about perfect. That's just a little bit lighter. That's where your knitting expertise comes in handy, Twisted Oma, is you understand how textured fabrics work. And sometimes if there's a big enough space, sometimes those little things won't be able to come out just because they won't be in scale. There we go. So that little touch of extra light makes the hair appear shiny. And I'm going to glaze anyway. But actually I might not need to. I think that actually looks pretty good. It can also get you in trouble to know those things, though, because then when you get up to where you're painting something on a bust, like Dude, my lumberjack from Mark Maskelyne's class, then you know a little bit too much about what the stitch should look like, and then you can get yourself into trouble with wanting to do way more work than it warrants. There we go. Sweet. Yeah. Something big and bulky you'd want to do. So you're knitting it on a separate needle, and it's where you get the raised patterns, like the raised braid patterns, Pendrake, on sweaters. You have to do those with cable to get the 3D look. All right. Alrighty, so we've got that hair down. That's awesome. I think I'm questioning. Oh, that's right. I was going to make the snaky's head glowy. That's right. So that'll help a bit. Once I figure out what color to make this, and once I fix this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to feel like green working that. We'll have to think about it. I definitely want him on the base before I think about doing this spell effect, because I want to be able to put the skeleton up there. Let's do the gold real quick on this, and then he's pretty set for now. I'll need to, once I have the gold on, then it's the spell effect on the snake and the snake staff and the hanky, and extra bone on the skeletons. We've just put the base coat on the skeletons. Although my current hair shading color is actually very similar to Woodstain Brown, which is a really good skeleton shader. So let's actually just put some lining around those bones. But yeah, you can just Google it, Pendrake. It'll give you lots of cool examples of it. It's one of the cooler things you could do with knitting, and I just haven't tried it yet because I've abandoned my knitting for the summer. I actually haven't done much of it since I finished my cowl. Then I was working on the books and stuff, so it sidelined me. If I was going to knit these days, to find time, I'd probably have to give my evening over to it, and I'm very much into the computer gaming. I actually got my Diablo character up to a serious level. Like, she's level, 71 now or something. Like, I've never gotten a character that high in Diablo. But I actually like her, my barbarian. She looks really cool. I have to take a picture of her because I want a miniature of her. Her armor's really neat. She just looks awesome. She's got darker skin and yellow eyes like an animal. With that dark hair and a ponytail. And she's just, she dual wields. Would make a great mini. Let's get the other hand here. And I could just put a wash over the bones. That's the easy way to do it. But then you have to go back and highlight them. And these bones are really tiny. I'm probably going to have to go back. I'm going to have to go back and highlight them anyway. But there are times where you're like, well, which way is going to give me more work? And the answer is both. And then you just go with whatever you feel like doing. And that's me today. Little hands. Correct. We're talking about knit stitches, so it's a knitting effect that you, a type of stitch. It is typically seen on sweaters, but also can be used on things like shawls and blankets if you feel like it. And cowls and half capes and capelets and all those kind of things. You just need enough room to do it and make it look good. Some people hate cables and some people love them. I've learned that. Just doing a little bit of shading up here on the skelly. Give him a little bit. Usually there's a hollow here behind the eye. Uh-oh, dropped sticky notes, that's all right. But you did that, and it's cool that you did that, Kerniko. Don't be sad. If you could keep working on it. Alright, I'm going to take Ed off and put Skelly onto here, because I want to do some lining on Skelly. Even if you aren't as even as you used to be, at least you can still enjoy it. You can see how terrible Skelly's face is. He's definitely lopsided.
There's not much we can do about this. He's just gonna look like he's got a permanent, like somebody hit him really hard with a hammer and his eye slid down. I can paint plastic surgery this eye to look a little bit bigger, but he'll still be a little bit wonky. And that's just the mold line slippage. I can also break that down. There we go. That's a little better. So paint plastic surgery can correct that kind of thing. Yeah, some people love cables and some people don't, I think, Tristodoma. Just like with any technique. He also doesn't have much of a nose, this Skelly. So I'm just darkening in some of his features so that when I highlight, I'll be able to have some contrast. Contrast, that's the word I'm looking for. He's got armor around his neck, except for that there. It's pretty dark because of the primer, but I'll shade it anyway. I won't make that decision, Slayer, until I get the base together and I'm ready to actually do that work. I at least need to have the base, the plastic base in my hand, and until I get my Reaper order, I won't have that. But I need to putty things into place so that I can see how much work I'm willing to do to extend it into a proper spell effect. Because right now, he's just Bon Voyage Ed, and I'm gonna, need to change that. If Ed himself were looking at this figure, he'd be like, what's the hanky? So, we shall fix the hanky. The hanky is just there because it would cost you a lot more to get this model if the hanky was a serious spell effect. Plus, casting it might be a problem, because we're still dealing with limitations of metal with these. I think a lot of us get spoiled and forget that metal casting has a lot more limitations to it than 3D printing, as far as the thinness and length of effects being able to successfully cast. Yes, Agent Marble, correct. It has postage, it just hasn't shipped yet. As of Saturday, it had postage. So it should hit me sometime toward the end of this week. Too late for us to paint the Christmas minis this year, I'm afraid. But I'll have them for next year. Just doing a little bit of shading and separation of bones here. I wouldn't do a cloud probably, Pendrake, because it's very hard to sculpt that. I mean, we could use batting or cotton or, cotton swabs or the fiber stuff that I've got, polyfill for my knitting animal stuff. Could use polyfill to create the effect of a cloud, but a cloud effect isn't really what I think of as like necromancy, so... And then you have to paint figure out how to paint the cloud, and without it's usually best to do that with an airbrush, which I don't use, so it's more likely to be kind of a spindly kind of electrical power kind of effect. Somebody had a great idea of bringing it out just a little bit more, and then having the tendrils like around a glowing skull, wrapped around a glowing skull. So just bring it out a little more, and I think I'm going to do that because what that will do is enable me to bring out like the skull right here without too much more work here, and keep most of this, and then just have the skull kind of glowing up here as a spell effect. And then I can have like some of that spell energy coming off the skeletons too. So that would be the way I think I would do it. Yeah, but those were sculpted for me. It's a lot harder to sculpt clouds than you think. And yeah, I don't think... for me, that's not the right spell effect for a necromancer. Clouds and things like it are the hardest thing, both to sculpt and to paint. Jeannie successfully looked like she was coming out of the mist. She was pretty good, but doing it as a freestanding, like billowing mist is a little harder, I think. Making it look right. Don't want to forget the spine here. And then there's just the question of how much work am I really willing to do? Because this isn't like I'm super inspired to do it. I just want to get something that looks decent, so. Yeah, I don't know that I want crystals. I think I like the idea of the tendrils of energy wrapping around a ghostly skull and doing it that way. Crystals are easy enough to sculpt with like plastic card stuff, which is nice, but there, and I've got all the bones kind of standing out. That's nice. And they can be dirty looking because, well, they're he's crawling out of the ground, so he can be a dirty looking skeleton. But yeah, I mean, you can do whatever spell effect you wanted to. I'm probably going to use just wire and green. And one of my Reaper extra skulls. Not as, I mean, maybe, but not really, because I'm just going to use the hanky and kind of spring off of it. We'll see. If I run out of oomph or I don't have the oomph to start it, then we're going to put this model aside for now and finish it later when I do have oomph. Because as always, basing, whether I finish any basing is dependent on how inspired and how much energy I have for the project. So I don't know how much energy I'm going to have for this project. Once I've got it all together, we'll figure it out. I mean, you'd probably only do 3 tendrils, Agent Marvel, 2 on top, 1 on the bottom, and you'd just probably just sculpt them right off of the skull itself. So I would get my little extra Reaper skull and sink thin wire into it and just put green stuff around that, and then pin those wires into this. I would just I'll cut off the ends essentially and pin the wires into that, and then sculpt them together. I think that's the easiest. Spell effects are hard. Spell effects are difficult to do. So, and crystals, yeah, crystals doesn't work for me for necromancy either. So I'm just gonna think about tendrily goo. Why not? Who doesn't like tendrils and goo? Alright, so that's a little bit better. He looks better now that he's shaded. That's good. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for the gold on this, and then we'll have to do the skeleton's armor too. We can do a lot of rust on this guy. The Bones, the latest Bones Kickstarter, they're closing the Pledge Manager at the end of the year, Hoobrew. Once they close the Pledge Manager, that's an indicator that we are now preparing to righteously execute on our Kickstarter. Now, beyond that, I know not. I assume they have not given a date and will not give a date until they have a really solid idea. Oh, is it on schedule? So, whatever they said the original ETA is, it is on schedule. I should get my my Brandon Sanderson big miniatures this week. They're on the road. Okay, let's see. What do I need? I need gold stuff. Gold stuff. Yellow, rich leather. Can put away some of this or I'm going to get it confused with what I need. Expecting April. And then June, July for the DDRPG. Alright. Super. Thanks, Reaper. Yeah, Reaper at this point, Hoobrew, is pretty good at like guessing how long it's going to take them, so the only thing that can get in the way at that point is just weird shipping stuff. But alright, let us get our gold on Ed. I'll take Skelly off of the base again, plop Ed back onto it. But yeah, so getting those, I'm looking forward to seeing how good those sculpts are on the Brandon Sanderson Stormlight Archive minis. I'm hopeful, but willing to like acknowledge that, well, maybe these aren't good enough for repaint, but hopefully they are. Mix up my colors. And we're going to need brown liner for sure because there's lots of little fiddly details, like true to Tom Meyer, there's lots of fiddly details on these. The belt and the other belt and the dangly thing and the tiny skull. We're gonna mix up our lantern yellow with our rich leather, about 3-to-1, and then our lantern yellow with our white, pure white, also 3-to-1. Hey, Growly. Oh boy, yawn attack. Sorry, guys. I'm just happy I've been sleeping much better. For a while there, my sleep was very, very bad with the stomach crap. Let's see. Go with that. Oh, 47 months. Yeah, almost. Oh, so close. Yeah, I'm sitting there with like $400 worth of stuff for David in my cart. Or maybe not quite 400. I think I am going to get us the Switch. I think I'm going to get us the Nintendo Switch. And I'll get him the new Zelda game. Yeah, $260 worth of stuff plus tax. The BCA pink, yep. Although apparently it's changed a lot over the years. That already. Somebody brought me examples of the last couple batches, and they were all different. Which I always find so amusing. considering how easy that color is to mix. You love your Switch, Cornico? Yeah, it looked like there were a lot of fun games on it. That's why I was like, you know, even if David, like, doesn't, like, use it as much as I think he will. But he's always looking for new games to play, so I'm like, you know, I bet he'd give it a go. And even if he doesn't, I might. Because I'm also sometimes looking for things to just shut down my brain at the end of the night. And the new game is like very, very highly reviewed, so I have faith that it will be a good one. And it's right up his alley. It's super right up his alley. It sounds very, very interact with environment, puzzly, constructy, crafty kind of thing, and that's really David's. That's it, where he's happy. Oh yeah, does it have fun group games? I've just never bought into the whole like all these some of these franchises, so I don't know. Oh, I'm just dropping things too. Really, my arm is attacking everything on this side of the desk and casting it off of the desk. All right, got to get that brown liner being a little more solid, because when you're working with really tiny stuff, you need the higher contrast, so it needs to be not as thinned. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened, Twisted Oma. I was pretty good about, like, I could see a little variation with when I was doing it, because it is a formula, but I didn't bother to like match it precisely. The formula was always the same, but the base, the white base that it's made in, varies in the amount of white pigment slightly, so that would naturally give it, you know, a little bit of variation. But I mean, I always nailed, like, it was at least a pastel pink with me, so I don't know where that dark one comes from. Great, Crowley. That sounds fun. Oh, David, I think, do you guys want to see the finished Clint Eastwood bust that David and I finished it this weekend? Hold on. We'll put Ed here. And now I can say I finished a model this year, even if my husband painted half of it. Where did he put it? Dang it. He stole it, and then he put it away somewhere. Where did he put it, Bubba? Dang it! He stole the model, and then he put it away somewhere. I don't know where he stuffed it, Bubba. Well, so much for that. Apparently he ate it. I have to text him angrily. Text him angrily. Nice, Agent Marvel. Nice. Oh, I bet I know where he is. I bet he's on the photo pad. David was trying to take pictures of him yesterday. Excuse me, Keeks. Excuse me, Keeks. It's the only place I haven't checked, Keeks. Stay. Yep, I was right, Kiki. I was right. He was on the photo pad. Our guest bedroom has a photo pad on the bed. So we have a... Dude. Kiki, go settle. Shh. She got all excited because I was moving around. Here we go. Yes, this is a gift for my brother for Christmas. Because we grew up watching this movie, and he's a big Clint Eastwood fan. There you go. This is our first collaboration, my husband and I. First collaboration. So we both painted areas of it, but then we both went back and adjusted each other's work as well, in places. So, yeah. And then, yep, young Clint Eastwood. But yeah, my brother should really like it, so. I haven't painted a miniature for him for like 20 years. So yeah, so now that David and I have collaborated on something, the door is open to collaborate on something else. It was interesting. Like you have to, like now that I've done it, like I was talking to my some of my Write Club people yesterday about it and how I could see how you might collaborate on a novel, right? Because now it's the first time I've ever collaborated on anything, I think. Anything creative. Oh, it went fine. Like, I feel, if anything, Crowley, I feel like David did a little bit more of the work on it. And I feel like I'm also letting it, like... I feel like I'm letting parts of it slide a little bit more, because his style is a little more informal and less persnickety than mine, so I've relaxed my style a little bit on it, so... He's just an awesome person at this point, I think, Turgeon. You don't get that old without, like, having some perspective. But yeah, it was I would do it again. I feel like if it wasn't something we had to finish super fast, that we maybe would have done even a little bit more on it, but it's a very high-end miniature, as far as David's concerned. I missed a spot back here. There's some spots back behind the model where there's a little bit of primer or a little bit of metal showing through in this really deep crevice. See those spots? So we're going to go in and sink some liner back there. There. Yeah, exactly. Well, we wouldn't have done it otherwise. We wouldn't have done it, like, the whole point of doing it was to do it as a collaboration so that we could send a joint gift. Alright, I've got my little pentagram here. We need to do that in gold as well. Oh, and I should have I'll grab my pale color here and do the book pages. Or are we? Yeah, we're a little blurry. Nope. Just a teensy bit. Alrighty, let's get some of this going on. I want to add a little bit of white to that. I've got my colors mixed up. I've got my rich leather, my mix of rich leather and lantern, which looks a lot like a yellow ochre. I think I need a little bit more white in that yellow ochre, so I'm going to lighten it up a little, and then I'm going to, so 1 drop of white, and then I'm going to add a little bit more lantern to my pastel yellow. Because I feel like it needs to be a little bit more buttery. Since we're so saturated here, we have to go with a hyper-saturated gold for the NMM. Okay. Just trying to get these all adjusted so I can get them going on. And we've got, whenever I'm doing like late touch-ups for this, I essentially I'm going back and using the second row. So there's my colors for the second row. I tend to use a lot more of my palette when you're getting close to done on a figure and you're working on different sections at once. Alrighty. Grab my yellow ochre color and I'm going to start kind of getting the bottom part of this. The bottom part of this, the hanging part of the belt is coming out on top of his knee, so it would catch the light a little bit more there. So I'm going to do more highlighting around the edge there and on the runes. And usually just using your brush and dragging it a little bit over the surface like that will pick up those little runes. If we want a little bit more definition, we will need to take our brown liner and try to do that. Another way to do this would have been to start with the rich leather, do a real thin wash with the brown liner to bring all the details out, and then go for the top. But you can also just take your brown liner and fill in some of those details a little bit. On the belt itself, the detail is so fine that I'm just going to have to highlight it and just look little pinpoints. I won't be able to really do any shading except for like shading the skull here. And maybe like doing a line of shading just there, a line of shading on the other side, and then just highlighting the top part here. Yeah, I need to. I think I'm getting the rest of the family gift cards. I don't think I'm getting actual presents for anybody else, except we have to do something about David's parents. I probably need to order those now. Since we're getting to the point where shipping is going to slow down a lot thanks to the holiday. Alright, so I'm really just going to kind of, I think these are just like tiny little skulls. So really I'm just going to hit little pinpoints of light yellow here on the top. Because you really can't paint that. I mean, if I can't paint that, you really can't paint that. It's the only thing about Tom Myers. Sometimes the detail really is just so small that for any painter who doesn't have supernatural brush control and eyesight, it's really like almost impossible. So instead, simplify it. The great thing about Tom's work is it's very realistic, and there aren't a lot of sculptors doing that at this scale. So it definitely has a different feel to it. It's very good for stuff like this, likenesses and things. Yeah, this center skull, we have a lot more room. Okay, bye. Quindy's around. Oh no! Quindy, fix it, fix it! Crowley has taken advantage of us again. It's still on. The hashtag free is still on. Quindy is normally here to catch Crowley right after he does it, but this time Crowley got away with it. Uh-oh, John is here. John is here. Nope, John will save us. John will save us. I have faith. I know, she got pulled away by something, probably. She does actually work, you know, guys. Thank you, John. Thank you for saving us. Sorry, Crowley. Ron and Dave can give away half the company, but you cannot. Oh, it's still annoying, Sir Gambit. Hey, Kiki, what did you bring? I heard you drop something. What did you bring to try to entice Mama to not stream anymore? I think I blurfed that. Well, not quite. Hi, do you want to come up and say hi, Keeks? Hold on, let me get my leg round. Okay, let me get my brush rinsed out. There. Kiki! Oh, you brought a bone to chew? You have a bone to chew with me? Is it about giving you a bath yesterday? If you've got a bone in your mouth, you're probably not going to come up on my lap. You going to come up? Come on up! Yay! Hi, giant dog. Hello, giant dog. Hi, giant dog. Oh, so giant. So giant. So clean. So soft. Clean and soft. Oh, it's very pettable right now. This dog is extremely pettable right now. So pettable. Oh, hi. Hi. Good girl. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming up and saying hi. I'm going to rescue my sticky notes from you. Yeah, I know, Cerberus. I know. Demon dog. Demon dog. She's very soft and pettable right now. Her soft sides are so soft. So soft. I just want to pet you all day. I just want to pet you all day. After we give you a bath, this is how you are. Very soft and pettable. Okay, we have a few minutes more, so let us continue with our gold. You've got about 10 minutes, Keeks. Just hang out. Oh, boy, the yawning. I must have woken up in the middle of a sleep cycle or something. A dream cycle. We did stay up a little late watching the Bake Off finale. Alright, Keeks, I need pure white too, otherwise this can't be NMM. When painting this stuff, I would definitely use a little extra flow improver in your paint. When doing something really fine and tiny like this, it'll help the paint come off your brush a little bit easier. So maybe replace 1 drop of the water that you would add with a flow improver. Not full strength flow improver, but flow improver mix. Almost all flow improvers are meant to be thinned. Reapers is pre-thinned for you. But if you buy like a Winsor & Newton flow improver, read the label. It will usually tell you that it needs to be thinned about 10 or 20 to 1. Little touches of white. So I want definitely a spot on top of the head there. And like I said, the details here, very, very small. Probably you're not going to be able to paint them, but do what you can. Usually with skulls, I try to get the top of the skull, the eye rims, if I can, and then the teeth. And that'll be enough to kind of suggest that there's a skull there. And then do a little bit of pure white. Just on the front. Gonna go over the top of the dots that I already put on with a little extra punch. That one was really bright. Sometimes if I really wipe out some of my gold, I have to do a little bit of a glaze over the top. Better. With little details like this, it's really easy when you try to put those white highlights in, it's really easy to wipe out your gold tone. So be careful to make your white highlights really small. Bring up that edge with white because it's kind of facing up. Get a little bit of reflected light down here, but not quite as bright. I'm going to put a little bit of shadow down the middle. I'm going to mix my rich leather with a little bit of my brown liner and thin it. A little bit darker up there. Gives us a bit more contrast. A little bit of shadow there. A little bit, that's just a little bit of drama. Now I need to do the middle a bit more yellow toward the bottom. There we go. Hey John, are you going to play the new Path of Exile? I'm really kind of psyched for it. I haven't played for a while, the last few leagues. But playing Diablo has reminded me, like, there's just things I like better about Path of Exile than I do about Diablo. So I think I'm gonna play. Oh, awesome! Oh, almost every league, yeah. We skip, like, we'll play one and then maybe play like half of another one, and then we'll kind of get sick of it and we'll take a break and come back. Yeah, excited about Poto. Me too. Me too. But that'll be a while, right? Like, it's probably next year. From what they've been, because they're doing a preview at PoCon again, right? Or is that coming out later? I mean, it may not be 2025. Is it end of 2024? Do we know? Do we have like a maybe next year, or do we have a it's going to be another whole year kind of thing? Do we know for the Po2? July 2024. All right, so it's coming then. It's coming. Half a year, more or less. All right, that's exciting. Oh, and I totally forgot to put gold on the book, guys. Oh no, everything else looks so blingy. Well, I guess we're going to have to just do it real quick, at least, then we can just highlight it next time. A lot of this gold is kind of back here, so we will only have a little touch of the mid yellow color. We won't bring it up all the way. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping I can get a good... I really liked my trapping one, and I thought maybe the seismic trap build looked like it might be good. Test seismic and exsanguinate. I had a character like that, and then that was a league we kind of dropped out of, so I think I would like to run a build like that again. But I like a good elemental witch build and also, so we'll see. I'll look around. Cool. So we got just a little bit of shiny going on there. That's pretty good, I think. Let's back up. The details are so tiny. Yeah, that's good. It's actually pretty good. Sweet. I think there's like a dagger back here. I'll put a little bit of highlight on it real quick and then we'll end the stream. Yeah, looking forward to the Po. Trying to get David to do it. He's been raiding again in World of Warcraft. But he's also still playing a little Diablo with me, and I'm just like, I kind of would like to try the new Po. Put a little tiny, if I can get a little tiny white highlight on the pommel of that dagger, I will. Yeah, there we go. Just a little suggestion of bling back there. SOD. Did I miss something? Season of Discovery. Yeah. Thanks, Sturgeon. Yeah, you have a great afternoon, too. Yeah, I haven't looked at Season of Discovery. But I really want to play the Po, so... Alright, so there we go, guys. We've got... it's really looking good now. It's starting to really come up. So we'll have to... when my base comes, I'll spend probably one session building the basing. Around that, we need to paint the armor on the skeleton. We'll do a lot of rust-type stuff on that. We'll probably... that'll be kind of fun. So we'll do that. And then we need to make our decision about the spell effect and see if Anne has enough oomph to execute. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for... Oh, no. Super zoom in. Thank you so much for tuning in to Ed on tomorrow. I think we've only got a little bit to do on Meat's Ghost.
And then we're going to start on
Meesguard. So Mies Ghost now needs a foe. So we will start on the mouse. After we do the bronze on the pommel there, we will do the, and I was going to put just a tiny bit of rust up there. That's right. Okay. Yes. So we're going to be doing these guys tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. And thank you, John, for riding herd here for the last part of the stream when Quindy disapparated. We appreciate you. Yeah, the Wraith Mousling is super cool. This was super fun to paint. You all should paint one for sure. All right, cool. I will be back tomorrow. You guys have a fantastic day. All right, bye-bye.